Hey everybody, this is Al from El Rey Collection, and I'm here to do a recap of my 12 predictions for 2022. See how we're doing here, more or less in the middle of the year, and talk a little bit about all these happenings that at the beginning of the year I thought could happen. So before we kind of get into it, first I wanted to unfortunately go through the disclaimer, which is a long one. But hopefully you can just pause and read this disclaimer on your own. But in general, I'm not here to give investment advice. I'm not saying things will happen. I'm not saying things are going to go up. They're going to go down. Anything that's happened in the past doesn't indicate anything that's going to happen in the future. So if I happen to use words like will, may, should, expect, anticipate, it's pure conjecture, opinion, meant to be fun, and certainly not investment advice. So let's see what else I got to say on that. If you want to pause, and read some very fascinating legalese, please do so under this disclaimer, and I'll let the page stay here a second or two, just in case you want to do that and get out your magnifying glass. All right, three count warning to this going off the screen. 3, 2, 1. Now into the fun stuff. So this is meant to be fun. If half, I originally said that if half of those positive projections came to be true, the market would be in a good place. I'm actually surprised to see how we're doing. And of course, as anything fun, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Leave comments on this YouTube video. Let me know where you think I am wrong. I can't obviously point out every potential bias that I may have, but in general, I'll try to do that. And if I show any scans of cards, those will be my cards. And if I need to comment on if I have something or not, I will do so if I think it could impact your perception of my biases. But again, if I truly had a crystal ball, I would be and knew how to play the market perfectly, I would be retired. I am not. I still work for a living, but try to have fun collecting as much as I have. So the first prediction was a pre-war soccer car will sell for $10K in 2022. As we got into the year, there had been a lot of players crossing the 5K mark last year, but as we got into 2022, we were not really seeing this elusive 10K mark. Then suddenly a few key early stars started trading at 10K in the private market. Again, no public marks. And then, I had kind of guessed that, so that was a Singleton and Cole Bloomer went for 10K, as did a Meredith. And now, finally, we're having a public sale of the Meazza Lorati, and right now it's at 25K plus. I'm actually filming this video prior to that auction ending. It's actually closer to 30K, so it definitely is well in exceed of the 10K mark that I sent out. And this is actually pretty epic for the early pre-war soccer market, because it gives confidence that a number of eyeballs are looking at this segment and understanding the rarity of cards, but also the importance of relative players. So that's a big fat green check mark. We already got through that, and that was a big threshold for us to hit, and it's great for the market. The second one that I had was that a top 20 player card will sell for 100K. And wouldn't you know, right out of the gates in March, we got a sale of the elusive Puskas Nanina 1947 rookie for 110,000. It was in SGC4. Here, this is one of my SG3 3.5s, right? I think my only SG3 3.5. And so clearly this was a big mark in the Puskas market and spilled over to other players. Of course, we had a big run with what, a 70K transaction for George Best in PSA 7, one of the first ones that hit the market, or maybe it was just high 50s. You know, and Charlton had a run. I think he had some cards that nearly hit, you know, 10K. So there was a lot of these kind of second tier guys. But to have a player that's not, you know, Pele, Maradona, you know, Cruyff, even to a certain extent, or, you know, the new ultra modern guys like Mbappe or Haaland trade for over 100,000 was a big moment for the soccer card space, especially the vintage soccer card space. And having Puskas cross that threshold is amazing. Again, this is a super low pop rookie of a key top 20 player, so I'm not overly surprised, but it was nice that this actually happened in 2022, as I had frankly predicted and hoped that it would. So we got Puskas making the call there. The number 3 one, you know, prediction that I have for 2022, and I wasn't happy about making the prediction at the time, but just what I saw at the market scared me a little bit, and I saw more reasons that the Messi market would continue to go down. Even, you know, except for the macro situation, I just felt like there wasn't a lot to propel the Messi market, and that's exactly what we saw. I think that, you know, even from the January time, which is already significantly down from the time periods before that, we have seen softness in almost all of the cards across the grading spectrum, with the one exception, the PSA 10 71 bis, which recently held its own for 300 plus K, which was more or less in line with the previous sale. So, you know, but even before that sale, you know, pretty much everything across the board is down anywhere from, you know, 35 to 75%, depending on the card. And I really feel that if you believe long term in the soccer market, you know, I'm not calling a bottom here, but I'm saying that it's bottom-ish. You know, I think that there's if truly demand materializes and people come into the market at these price points, you know, if the soccer market is to grow, we will need a rebound from these price points in Messi cards to carry the market. So, you know, I do feel like, you know, it hasn't been great news, but I'm, you know, looking right now to say, hey, how could I play this market? Because there hasn't been, I mean, it's basically been a slow demise for the first 6 months of this year. And frankly, while it's still a long shot, there is a chance for Messi's fortunes to reverse. I mean, I think Argentina's, you know, the top, you know, 6-7 favorite for the World Cup. I don't think that they'll win. It's still a long shot at like 1,200 plus 1,200. So, you know, 12 to 1 you get if you bet on Argentina. So clearly the market's going against that bet. But if that did happen, you know, you got to believe it would have a mega impact. And since the market's not assuming that to happen, you've got some a free option kind of built into these cards. Plus they're beautiful. Plus he's the GOAT. So, you know, I think while I've been right that the market has been soft, that's not altogether bad, especially if you're a long run investor and looking for some value. I think there's some significant value in a lot of Messi rookie cards. So I'm giving myself a green check mark on that one, even though, you know, it hurt me personally as well. Number 4 was there would be a $1 million soccer card in 2022. We had a very close, you know, sale in 2021. It was 900,000 of the Pele PSA 9, and then, you know, I wasn't sure which one would hit, some Modern Madness, or, you know, the one that I thought should hit. And the PSA 9 that Rally had did sell for $1.3 million. Here I have my 8.5 on the screen. And, you know, I think that was probably the right card to go over $1 million. And I think that was a great mark for the soccer card industry. And I think that this card will continue to be a major leader of value and really in the upper elite cards that may be somewhat impervious to the economic situation around us, as we recently saw with the other elite, PSA 10, Messi rookie card. So the PSA 9 Pele Alifa for 1.3, mega price. But honestly, I think over the long run, since there's only 6 of those, and another 4 8.5s like here, that card probably has a bright future as long as soccer cards have a bright future as well. So the number 5 prediction that I have is the World Cup run would begin in the summer of 2022. Honestly, given the catastrophic economic meltdown we see around us, I'm not sure we're going to see much of anything happen this summer. I think most people are going to be wondering about their jobs, the economy, other assets in meltdown, whether it's stocks, crypto, other collectibles, and other sports cards have been getting crushed. So, I think this may get pushed out into the third and fourth quarter. It may happen in a muted effect. It may not happen at all, but certainly I feel like the World Cup mania is something that's really difficult to stop. And I gotta believe in the fourth quarter, regardless of what's happening everywhere else, we'll see some of this. Certainly, I think it's unlikely we're going to see it here in the summer. There's too many other distractions and too many other question marks out there. So I am not overly enthusiastic that this happens in the summer, but it doesn't really need to. Let's see what happens in the third or fourth quarter. We'll come back at the end of the year and see where we end up. The next thing that I had, the number 6 thing, was that the soccer card Discord, vintage soccer cards, which if you haven't joined, please do and join. We have lots of spirited conversations in there, share a lot of knowledge, people ask questions, absolutely free to join. So you can go there and join using that link that I gave you. I figured it would grow to about 1,000 people. When I said that, we had about 700 in, so we needed about 100 more from where we were. Now, actually, Bill culled about 100 of those 700 that were non-active. They had just joined but never participated. So he culled them from the server. So we went from 700 down to 600, and we're back up to 700. On an apples by apples basis, if we were at 700, the number I gave, we'd only be up at 800. We're halfway through the year, so we're kind of behind schedule. But maybe with the World Cup interest, we'll get up towards that, which would be a 900 number at the end of the year on an apples to apples basis. We're behind that, so I'm saying it looks unlikely right now, but the World Cup has a big impact. And we're only talking about a few hundred people in a world of billions that could potentially be interested in this space. So, we'll see. In the meantime, if you haven't joined the Discord, please join the Discord and enjoy a lot of fun conversation about vintage soccer cards. By the way, we also talk about pre-modern and everything else. There's even a cricket and F1 channel and crypto, so lots of other stuff going on in the channel. Number 7, Pele's health could be a major story of 2022. God forbid, I don't want this to be a big story, but just if you've seen some of his recent signatures that he has on cards, they're looking pretty rough. Pictures coming out, he's looking pretty rough. I feel, terrible for the guy, and I hope this doesn't happen. Hope he's happy and healthy and continues to do well. If the Maradona market is any barometer, the reality is that, unfortunately, if people pass, it does good things for their card values, which I hate even saying, but it's something that's real. We saw that with Maradona, so I bet we would see that with Pele, especially if it coincided or came close to the World Cup. So let's hope that this doesn't happen. I hope I'm wrong here, kind of like on my Messi prediction. But, it could be a major story because he's such a GOAT. He's such a global phenomenon. He's such a global brand. And let's see how things go for Pele. God bless. The next thing that I had was that PSA would open at the lowest level, the value level, at $20 to $30. So, they had kind of announced this was their intention, and so there's some question of whether this was going to happen or not. So we're sitting here in June of 2022, and the $50 economy is fully open, so you can send as many as you want at $50. The $30 value is launching right now. That's going on for cards that are from 1996 and up. So if you have a vintage card, your still only option at PSA is $50. So that's far away from this, but I don't see what the difference is between grading a vintage card and a 1996 card. So you got to imagine that $30 range is going to happen relatively quickly, and so I think that the $30 range is certainly within sight. We're going to need lower than that, the $20 range for set builders. Otherwise, people just aren't going to send in cards. So I think that we still need to see that for set builders, but I think that the $30 range has been hit. So technically we got this one right. I think that really we need to see lower though for people to send in large swaths of cards. So certainly looking forward to those lower value submissions myself, and I imagine a lot of collectors are as well. I'm sure the PSA doesn't want to repeat their issues they had in the past, so they are being extra cautious and moving things down extra slowly. Number 9. So there will be at least 5 new rookies found. I don't think that we fully know what will be found. There is in last year we saw a new R9, we saw a new Zico, we saw Teofilo Oubillas, we had a newly graded Pele, that 57 Pele, and an Eusebio, newly graded Eusebio. So far, we found, we always knew the Astros exist, but I finally, we found that thanks to Vicente or Zhao on our Discord, who got that card. That's an amazing sticker. We also have a Kaluna rookie here that has not been seen in graded form. If you've seen my other videos, you saw I got this Aruk Di Stefano card, and as well the Bicicleta Di Stefano and his Hurricane or Huracan, if you're a Spanish speaker, uniform. So it's pretty exciting. Again, a number. Will we hit 5? I don't know, but halfway through the year, we already are, more than halfway there. So we're waiting for others, and certainly these epic Di Stefanos, the Astros Eusebio, the Kaluna, these are all amazing cards, and I'm imagining we'll hit this. Seems to happen every year. Super exciting. Not so exciting if you're the holder of a card that suddenly it goes from the preferred rookie to rookie material. But it's the nature of the soccer piece, and still I think there's enough interest in rookie material and enough scarcity in the market to support all cards that are ultimately displaced. So that's pretty epic and exciting, and so that was number 9 on the list. And then the one where I'd say that I absolutely got this wrong was that I thought that pre-modern cards would remain stable despite the mass influx of PSA slabs into the market. I thought, even though a crazy number of cards were going to come into the market, that equal number or more of collectors would come to offset that demand and absorb that influx and even, have things remain stable or go up. That was actually not the case. We must have had a number of collectors leave. The pre-modern sector has not done particularly well, especially in the low to mid grades. The higher grades have held on well. In general, of course, every card is different. You have to look at the individual case. Like the 2006 World Cup cards have not done well, even in higher grades. But I'm still very hopeful of new collectors from the World Cup, and most of those will gravitate towards this pre-modern segment. So I'm I'm feeling like there could be a bounce here. Still, great time to get into the market and pick up some of these cards at a huge discount to where they were even just, 6, 12, 18 months ago. Vintage has done better, mostly because Vintage has more true rarity. And there's been plenty of Vintage cards that have suffered, and the ones that are more common are those that have suffered. The rarer cards have done well. So true rarity has been calling the day up until now, and Pre-modem doesn't have a ton of true rarity. And even ones that have true rarity have been relatively soft. Number 11, I think that this was pretty clear and continues to be proven that that PWCC and Goldin, their practices and the way they do buyer premium really favor high value. And then I think this has been another thing to suppress the prices of the lower tier pre-modern and frankly vintage cards as well. That the high value have low commissions, really easy to sell them. They're getting a lot of transparency, social media views. They're getting in the catalogs. And so they're doing pretty well, holding up well. The lower value things, the collector grade things, still haven't really found their niche. Maybe Four Sharp Corners, Probostine. These can be okay, but the prices seem pretty soft, and I think the market's still shaking out on where we can sell these low value things. So, in general, the vault dynamics are changing, how you ship, how you transfer, and the high value continues to seemingly gravitate to PWCC and Goldin, and hopefully, the market will find a really good outlet for some of the lower value slabs like myslabs.com or any of the other, eBay-like sales processes. It's going to be a fascinating market to watch here over the next couple of years to how all these vaults work and how eBay's vault works and the PSA vault, and now with the, which I guess would absorb the Goldin vault and the PWC and taxes and so many other things here in the US. But really exciting time and really easy if you have a high value flips. Not so much if you have low value slips. So, also think about selling on the Discord and some of the Instagram and maybe even yourself on eBay if you've got cards that you know what you want to get out of them. And the last thing that I had was that the El Rey collection would find at least 2 items on my top 10 most wanted. That's the TTMW list. Of course, you never know what's going to happen. It's always important to have dry powder to jump on things. Your grails when they become available. I'm lucky enough to have added 3 of them already halfway through the year. An early Pepe card, which had been on my list for a long time. Not very valuable card, but a player that I've loved the story of, wanted one of his early cards. And then, of course, 2 epic Di Stefano cards. The Figuritas Aruk, which is 1947, and then the famous Bicicleta Silhouettes, which are, I think, cataloged as 1946, but I also believe that's likely more on 1947, since Di Stefano only played 1 year in the Huracan, on Huracan's team, which was 1946. So super happy with the ads from my collecting standpoint, and hey, if I could get another 2 by the end of the year, we'll do it. Loving that and loving the progress so far. So here's kind of a review of the progress report. When you were in school, what you'd get. It looks like I got the vast majority of them. It looks like of the things that we can definitively say, let's see, we got 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 yeses to 1 no and 3 undecideds with 6 months left to go. So with probably 1 or 2 of those going my way. So in general, it looks like despite the crazy global markets, which I had mentioned in my last video, we're holding on, I would say, incredibly well. There's generally some softness across the market, not just the Messi market, across most markets of more readily available vintage and pre-modern cards, and certainly ultra modern as well. But there's so many really positive events happening in terms of new thresholds of key players. Whether it's the pre-war market, whether it's the ultra rare or rare market, whether it's a top 20 player selling for 100,000 that wouldn't be on everyone's list of players they know, and the $1 million soccer card, and new finds in the market, which means people are grinding, people are investigating, and as the grading prices come down, PSA being at 30, and maybe others soon, dropping into like if SGC drops into the 25 or 20 or into the teens, I think we'll continue to see continued interest in grading cards, churning through the market, getting slabs out there, getting people interested, and helping people collect. So I hope that my channel helps you guys collect, helps you know kind of some of the thoughts that I have about the market, and hope you enjoyed my original 12 forecast for the market. I think the progress report's pretty good. The mid-year review, at least I feel pretty good about where we're standing. I still feel great about the market over the long term. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you do, please smash that like button and subscribe. It doesn't cost you a lot, but I'd love to get 1,000 subscribers, just like I'd love if we had 1,000 people in our vintage soccer Discord to share ideas, to share insights and collections, because we all need help in this wild west of soccer card collecting. So hope you've enjoyed the video. Please leave that like button and subscribe and come back and see me. Take care, everybody.